Hello, everyone, and welcome in. This is Aaron St. Denis at FFMadScientist, joined by Jesse Moeller at JMoeller05. And welcome to the Fantasy Football Universe. Couldn't have waited till I had the intro screen up to start yawning.
Yeah, sorry, my dog's yapping in the background too, so I don't know what's going on in my house right now.
All right. Welcome to the 2024 rookie sneak peek of Michigan running back Blake Corum, and Jesse's so excited he's yawning and falling asleep at the table. All righty, let's get into it. Blake Corum, he is from Marshall, Virginia, and was a four-star recruit out of St. Francis Academy. In 2020, as a freshman, he played in 6 games during that COVID season, recorded 77 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, while adding in 5 catches for 73 yards. In 21, as a sophomore, he played in 12 games, saw a significant boost, rushed for 952 yards. Yeah, that's a bit of a boost. And 11 touchdowns, while also chipping in 24 catches for 141 and a touchdown, the best receiving season of his college career. As a junior in 2022, he appeared in 12 games. His rushing totals were 1,463 yards while scoring 18 touchdowns. Good Lord, that's a season. Once again, he chipped in with minimal amount in the passing game, 11 catches, 80 yards, and a touchdown. Came to a premature this spectacular season came to a premature end with the season ending I can't read today. I don't know. I can't read. I wrote this one. If you want to check out,
You got yourself, yeah.
You want to check out what I've written because I can't read, apparently, go to fantasyfootballuniverse.com. Anyways, he had a season-ending injury against Ohio State. That's how his 22 ended. 2023, he appeared in 12 games. And while his rushing dipped slightly to 1,245 yards, his rushing touchdowns exploded to a whopping 27 on the way to leading Michigan to the Natty this year. He again added in a pedestrian 16 catches for 117 yards and 1 touchdown. I updated this, and it still says A. Did I not refresh the page? I didn't refresh the page. I ended it still Canadian. I was voice texting this at work, and I ended it with A on the end. That's how Canadian.
It's good on the one I'm looking at. It's good, so it's updated.
Yeah, I hadn't updated mine. It still said whatever, but so yes, that was a struggle. That was a struggle to get through. What did you think of Blake Corum?
I think he's a fun back who has some tantalizing traits that's very interesting at the next level. With any of these guys in this class, they all they're not elite across the board, or they have some weaknesses that are deterring them. So there are some things I wonder about him translating to the next level. But overall, he's one of the better backs in the class. And if you're going to be like that, it comes out of draft capital. So if he gets draft capital on the right scheme, he could be a very fun NFL player.
All right, let's take a look at some of these traits. He is a tiny one. 5'8", he's like a bowling ball. Yeah, 5'8", 213. He's a senior, and he was a bit older. Obviously went back because of the injury. He's 23, almost 23 and a half. Got 4 seasons with Michigan. The last 2 were awesome. Actually, the last 3 were pretty damn good. Once he became a full-time player. Is that a result of the system Michigan runs? We don't know. We will find out. Let's get into his scouting here. For strength, he has excellent vision and ability to find and hit the holes effectively. Versatile enough to play in both zone and power run schemes. He is a compact, powerful runner who's great at keeping his legs churning and has home run hitting ability with great burst and explosiveness, a great combination of quick twitch and speed. What strength stood out to you for Corum?
It's his vision and his ability to shrink down and fit through narrow gaps. Those 2 things stood out of all the other things that he possesses and tools. Those 2, I'm like, all right, he sees a play, he sets it up well, and he uses that vision to get to the second level. If NFL running backs can do that, they're going to be successful in the right scheme. So I like that aspect from him more than anything else. I think it's a very good tool in his bag of his arsenal.
Yeah, I don't know how much he has to really shrink down. He's 5'8", so I think he just naturally fits in there.
I guess more get skinny. It would be a better phrase.
Some of his weaknesses: he lacks ability and technique in pass pro, frequently misses his assignment. Durability issue is a concern. Obviously, he has a injury history, could prevent him of being a bell cow. Injury ended one of his seasons in Michigan. He struggled with injuries other years, always seemed to be banged up. He was supplemented there by Donovan Edwards, who was awesome, but he always seems to be one of those backs who worked best in a committee. I can't remember a time in Michigan while he was there where he wasn't in a committee. I don't think he was ever the bell cow. So he's not a between the tackles runner and may not be suited for goal line work or third down carries. Although, having said that, I've watched more tape. He's not terrible at goal line or short yardage. It's not because he's a big physical runner. It's because he's like a bowling ball and he finds the way to get in there. I just worry. I don't know how many times they're going to want to run him straight up the middle with the injury history. Limited receiving upside, basic route tree, marginally effective in the passing game. Of the top 5 or 6 that I scouted, he was one of the worst receivers. He's not a bad receiver. He just doesn't do it. It's kind of like Ken Walker.
Mm-hmm.
Walker wasn't a bad receiver. He just never really did it. When he caught it, when they threw to him, he was good. He caught it. They don't really use him like that. So could he maybe have a role in the passing game? Maybe. But you've got to think, say he goes to San Diego, he goes to Los Angeles, where his coach is. You'd think Harbaugh's going to use him the same way, so that would worry me. I don't really want to see him go to I think Harbaugh gives him the best chance to see immediate playing time. I don't necessarily know I want him going with Harbaugh because of the way he uses him. So he's got some concerns for me here and there where I don't know. He kind of feels like trying to think of who it would be. He feels like a tandem back, like not to say Gibbs and Montgomery, but a situation like that. Except I don't know if he has the ceiling. Like Gibbs and Montgomery are in a tandem, but one is an ultra talented, explosive guy, and the other volumes and touchdowns his way to relevance. I don't think he has the ceiling of Gibbs. So what do you think?
Absolutely, I'm with you. My worry for him is his lack of ability to create after contact. It's one of the lower marks in the class. Like the missed tackles force is not really good. So, and this is a guy who profiles more as a grinder back. Like I saw someone compliment Khalil Herbert. I thought that was pretty good. I think Khalil Herbert's a better overall rusher because he's one of the better rushers in the NFL. But he's along that line of players where he can catch passes if you need him to. But it's more by default if it's like a skill group that lacks, skill players. And then they're just checking down and check down. He's not going to be like an Eckler or a McCaffrey where they earn targets. That's not going to be him. But yeah, I do. Those are my kind of just like questions for him. So for fantasy, he needs volume. Like that's how he's going to be successful in the league. Like if he can get volume, I think he'll be fine. Without volume, then it's going to be super hit or miss for him, I think.
I think he needs to go to an elite offensive line like Philly. Like that's it. I'm a Michigan guy, so I know the Michigan players. For me, every time he broke off a long run, it was their offensive line dominated. It was one cut through a hole, boom, nobody touched him. Like this wasn't he broke tackles. This wasn't a Marshawn Lynch beastquake mode. Mm-hmm. This was he made one little cut, hit the hole, maybe dodged a defender or maybe one tackle and then gone. This wasn't he's fighting his way through it. He was a beneficiary of a really good offensive line. I think he could continue to do that. He has explosive potential. He needs the right set of circumstances. He needs to be used the right way, and he needs the right tools around him. Most importantly, like I said, I think he needs a really good offensive line.
Yeah, that was very apparent at Michigan. Those holes were pretty big for him, and he was taking advantage because he's an explosive running back, right? So if you have the good vision with the explosion, it's going to get you somewhere. And if you have a good offensive line, that's how you break those big runs. So overall, if he goes to a good offensive line and a good system, he could be successful. I just think he's not going to elevate the offensive line. So like that's the more concern I have with that. So if he's in a bad offensive line, I'm very worried.
I know it's only one game, but even the comparison I make was national championship game. It's Washington, right? I'm trying to blank. Washington? Okay. He scores 2 touchdowns. They're both short yardage ones. It's like 2 touchdowns, 40 yards or something like that total, wins MVP. Oh, is that what they call it in college? MVP, I think, anyways, for the championship game. Wins so. MVP. Donovan Edwards, 2 carries, 2 touchdowns, 140 yards. It was just like, I get it. They were being used in different ranges. I just thought they realized that the home run hitter was Edwards and they were giving him the role. And Harbaugh was using him as the goal line back, but I don't necessarily think he profiles to be the goal line back. He doesn't profile to be the pass catching back. He's not the home run back. He's not the goal. I don't know what his skill set is my worry.
Yeah, like in that game you're talking about, he had 21 carries for 134 yards. Like, they trusted him a lot. But yeah, Edwards is a guy that broke monster plays consistently in that game. So it makes sense why he got the MVP, but like realistically, I think it was them plus the offensive line. Like, that won them the game. So
Yeah, that's what they did. It was the offensive line. You see, like he put up, you said what, 21 carries, 134?
Yeah.
Donovan Edwards outrushed him on what? Just 2 carries.
He had like 6 for 104. It's absurd.
He had 2 back-to-back for 140 in the fourth quarter.
It's wild. Definitely wild. That game was nuts. Yeah, they in the second half of that game, they completely shut down the rushing attack until the end. Like, Edwards, and like, it was a lot of Corum. He couldn't do anything. Like, they keyed in on that the offensive line. They stopped it, and he didn't have holes, and he wasn't able to generate. So this is more the issue we're talking about. So he's going against a good defense with like a lackluster offensive line. Like, it's going to be tough sledding for him, and I don't know if he's the guy that can elevate like we're talking about. So that's the more issue.
I love him, but this is why he's not my RB1 in the class. I don't even know if he's my top 3, but
he's like my RB5.
I think he needs a very specific set of circumstances, including a great offensive line, and he needs to be used properly, but I don't know how to use him. He's not your between the 20s home run hitter. He's not your pass catching back. Do you want to use a small injury prone guy as your goal line third down back? I don't know what role he has in an NFL offense, and that's what scares me. So that's why I'm lower on him, despite the fact that I love him because he won a natty. But you'll see me here. I have him going in the second round, third. I think it's day 2. I have him going to the Chargers because Jim Harbaugh got a Jim Harbaugh. Mm-hmm. Don't know if I love it or hate it. Like I said, I think he gets more playing time and he gets a fair opportunity out of it. I don't know if I love the way Harbaugh uses him. So that is my ideal landing spot, while at the same time, absolutely terrifying. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's the most likely path for success because that's his college coach. And by the way, it's a Greg Roman scheme. I think he'd be very successful at Greg Roman scheme because they're very good at generating opening holes for like running backs to be efficient in. Like, we've seen this in all Greg Roman offensive attacks. So he could be successful, I think, in this situation. But like, this is the key we all want him in that situation, because that's going to be by far the best chance for him to succeed because he has the coach that trusts him. He'll feed him. It's ideally they need to work on offensive line, but the scheme's there. You could produce effective rushing attacks, and they're going to run a ton with Jim Harbaugh. So overall, yeah, for fantasy wise, like, I think that would be a very good path for him.
All right. I guess that's how we see it. That is a wrap for the 2024 rookie sneak peek of Michigan running back Blake Corum. If you want to see any of these write-ups for the prospects, head over to fantasyfootballuniverse.com and check all of them out. We even have the IDP ones who we don't have videos for. If you want to see the next video in our series, check back tomorrow. For Aaron and Jesse, thank you for tuning in to the Fantasy Football Universe. We will see you next time.